Welcome, football fanatics, to a spine-chilling episode. Brace yourselves for a ghoulish ride through haunted stadiums of Matchweek 10 in the English Premier League, where the specters of victory and defeat clash in a dance of the undead. I'm Redbeard. This is Targo.
What's up,
Or
guys?
should I say Ted Lasso?
I believe and believe.
This is a special Halloween episode of Brews and Banter FC, and it starts right now.
Right now. Welcome all to a special Halloween episode. I would ask you what you're drinking, bud, but it looks like you just drank it.
It's Squirrel Peanut Butter Whiskey. I had no idea. It was in a ghost.
It was in a ghost.
It was scary. Oh, how are you, my friend? Or Ted? How are you, Ted?
Doing good. Ready to kick off this episode of Brews and Banter FC. How are you feeling there, Mr. Oscar the Grouch?
I'm a little grumpy. Nah, how can you be grumpy, man? This was a wonderful week of football. We had everything from derbies in Italy, England, Spain. We had El Clasico, the Manchester derby. Blowouts left and right. Man, it was a good week of football.
I'm going to put it out there. I think this might have been my favorite weekend so far of the season.
Of this season, yeah, I tend to agree with you. Yeah. Not to mention, I mean, did you see these get-ups?
Yeah. It's Halloween as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it, man. You had the Manchester derby. You had El Clasico. You had PSV and Ajax. You had Napoli and Milan. I mean, our beloved Arsenal spanked Sheffield 5-0. Gotta love that. Bayern Munich put 8 past Darmstadt.
And 3 red cards in that game.
And 3 red cards.
Whew.
I think it was Frankfurt and Dortmund had a 6-goal thriller.
And Leipzig put up 6 themselves. So, with that, Targo.
What a weekend.
Yeah.
Roma and Inter.
What are you washing it down with?
I am washing it down with some Pin Crusher Pineapple Lime Golden Ale.
Ooh.
Sitting at a tasty 8%.
That sounds tasty.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I don't get it on my mustache here.
Welcome to the club, my friend.
That's easy drinking, man.
Yeah, that sounds like easy drinking.
It tastes like pineapple juice, but just a hint of spice. A little spicy pineapple juice.
Just a little spice.
Just a little spice.
It's nice. Well, I'm going to go the other direction, my friend. I got Humble Abode Brewing out of Spokane, Washington's Double Mosaic Smash Double IPA.
Double IPA.
Double IPA.
I'm going to guess a good 10%er, 12%er.
12.5.
Ooh.
Very excited.
Have you had this before?
Well, saying how I was tasting it during that question, how do I answer? No, before that sip, no.
Okay, how is it?
This might be the smoothest drinking double IPA I've ever tried in my entire life.
Ever?
Ever. Like, it does not taste like a double IPA. Heck, it barely tastes like an IPA. More like...
Out of 10, what are you giving it?
Oh, 8.5, easy. Maybe even a 9.
8.5. Ooh, I'm giving this a solid...
This is going to be a scary good episode.
I'm giving this a solid 8. Maybe, like you said, 8. I'll give it an 8.2.
8.2. Okay, I'll go 8.7.
Because this is good. It is fruity.
Yeah.
It says tropical fruit flavors explode from this potent but crushable golden ale brewed with more than a ton of pineapples. This crisp, refreshing beer finishes with a bright burst of key lime, making it the perfect brew for any occasion.
Again, sounds scary good.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
All right, Targo.
But enough with the brews, man. Let's get to some banter. We had match week 10 in the Premier League. First game was on Friday. We had Crystal Palace and Tottenham. Tottenham coming out 2-1 winners. We predicted that, the way they're flying with that Ange ball. I will say, Spurs scored 2 goals with only 1 shot on target.
I mean, I had nothing against Spurs. I don't. The way they've been playing. I do have, fundamentally a lot against Tottenham, but I don't know how they won this match. I really don't.
Well, they dominated possession, I will say, in this. They didn't create many chances. It was kind of that possession without creating much. I mean, the first half, it was 0-0. Going to the second half, they get into a dangerous area. James Maddison puts in a cross, and it's an OG. A little bit unlucky. He puts a cross, and Joe Ward, I think, puts it into his own net.
So unlucky.
And that was in the 53rd minute, yeah. And, in that first half, I will say probably the best chance fell to Crystal Palace.
Oh, 100%.
And Odson Edouard had a shot, and Vicario, who's been a fucking stellar goalkeeper so far this season for Spurs, came up with a big save, kept them in it.
Huge save.
And I think that was kind of just Spurs' that's the way they've been playing, man. They keep playing, they just kind of keep playing until they wear you down or a mistake gets made, and then they pounce on it.
Yeah. And it's definitely a lot of moments of brilliance from James Maddison and Heung-min Son. Like, that's been 90% of the reason why they're winning games, but credit to them, they're putting them in positions to where they can do that. And their midfield is 100%. Play. Not to mention, like, Vicario, man. He might be the most underrated goalkeeper in the Premier League right now.
I don't think he's underrated. I think he's doing fantastic. I am rating him highly.
Okay.
The past at least 2-3 weeks for
sure. I would put him top 5 goalkeepers in the Premier League right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
With Arsenal having 2 of the top 5.
With Alisson being at the top of that top 5.
And Ederson being second, yeah. Which, that's 5, so.
There you go. Spurs would get their second one after some lovely build-up play between James Maddison and Brennan Johnson, who came on as a sub. Johnson crosses it for Son, who gets another one, man. The guy's on fire.
Yeah. He's always in the right place at the right time. And, hey, maybe there's a shout to say that Harry Kane leaving was the best thing that could have ever happened to Heung-min Son.
It's interesting, yeah, seeing him in this striker role. I mean, that's his 8th goal in 10 games. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
And then Jordan Ayew would get one back for Crystal Palace in stoppage time. A little bit of controversy around this one. He chests the ball down, and as it's falling down, it looks like it hits his hand. I think it definitely hit his hand.
100% hits his hand. And with the rule, I mean, the letter of the law states that if the ball hits your hand and leads to a goal-scoring opportunity, it's a handball. There's no way this should have counted. But VAR had another howler of a weekend, so we'll get into that.
Honestly, we could do a whole segment on VAR mistakes.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, just listing them, we could do a whole segment. Not even talking about them.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So we moved to Saturday, the Saturday early morning game. It was Chelsea against Brentford. This was at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea coming back to earth after that 2-2 draw against Arsenal. They lose 2-0 here to Brentford.
Brentford getting their second win at Stamford Bridge in the last 6 months. That is more than Chelsea has at the Bridge in the last 6 months. Scared.
So what you're saying is Brentford have one more at Stamford Bridge, in 6
than
months than Chelsea have won.
Yep, 100%.
Oh, this was an interesting game though, because I'm going to compare Chelsea and United a lot. I feel like this episode.
I think that's fair at this point. The way they're playing, the results are similar, but the feeling around the teams completely different.
And so that's what I'm going to go with. Is they're kind of where they're sitting in the table. You know, Man United, they're sitting in 8th. Chelsea are in 11th, but the results aren't going their way.
I mean, they're only 3 points apart, so they're not too dissimilar.
Exactly. They're not too dissimilar where they're at in the table and kind of the results that they've been getting. But I will say, Chelsea in this first half, they dominated it, man. They had possession. They created chances. Brentford just looked fine, sitting defensively, not really attempting to go forward at all in the first 45 minutes. And it was kind of, same old Chelsea, creating chances, not able to score. Cucurella had a terrible miss. Should have scored. He kicks it right at the goalie. Raheem Sterling blasts one over the bar. I mean, and then we can get to this kind of decision where should Raheem Sterling won a penalty kick after a little shove in the back. You don't think so? You don't think it was a foul?
I think the problem with that one is, maybe it might have been a foul, but Raheem Sterling does have a reputation of going down very easily. So I think it had to do a lot with his reputation of him going down easy more than the amount of contact that was made.
I mean, personally, I think it was a foul. I do. It's a clear kind of push in the back, sending him down. Kind of, again, going with other fouls that occurred in the box this weekend that were called. I think that one should have been.
Fair. Okay. Well, if we're going by as a whole, I agree. As a whole of the sum of all the parts of missed calls, or I guess black and white letter of the law, yes. But I think in this instance,
it would have been soft. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think it would have been soft.
I think in this. Go ahead.
It's like I don't want to say I'm 50-50. I'm more like 55-45 on it, where yes, I think it was a PK versus not. Like, I don't think it's a clear. And so I guess that's why VAR didn't call it, because it wasn't a clear and obvious mistake.
Error by the referee, yeah.
But at the same time, I do feel like VAR should send the ref to go take another look at it, which is also going to be a theme this episode of the referees not going to the monitor to take a look at these.
Which has been a theme all season. And another theme is that they only watch it at the monitor in slow motion. They don't watch it in real time. Like, they should do both. If they're going to take 5 minutes to look at any situation, they should see both ends of it. It shouldn't just be like a fucking 3/4 of a millisecond. Did he make contact or not? It should be that and the live version, so you can see, well, the interpretation of the ref, was it a clear and obvious error?
Yeah, and we'll kind of get back to that slow motion versus real speed in that Newcastle Wolves game, because there's going to be an incident in that I'm going to want to talk about. And
same with the, was it Fulham and Brighton game and the United and Man City game. So
we'll kind of go down that further, but we'll start with the goal that was scored by Brentford. So the second half rolls around, and they grew into it. And I think that was kind of their plan, was to just sit back, wait for Chelsea to get frustrated, tire out, and then slowly grow into the game, try to capitalize on their 1 or 2 chances they might have. And
I mean,
they did.
That's what Brentford does, right? We've seen it all season. It's a giant chess match for Thomas Frank, and he literally just sends his team out there. Hey, if you can get a goal early, awesome. If not, bide your time. We'll see where the weaknesses are at halftime. We'll address them, and we'll capitalize on that. That's exactly what happened.
And that's what they did. 58th minute, Ethan Pinnock scored the first goal, getting in at the back post on a header. Poor marking. I mean, right before he scores, you can see Thiago Silva look at, I think it's Disasi, and point. He points.
Mm-hmm.
And Disasi doesn't do anything about it. Cucurella also suspect in the build up to this
of them
goal.
watching the replay of it, both of them literally just turn their heads and watch. Just like, and then, oh shit, ball's in the net.
Falling asleep, yep. And so Brentford go up 1-0. Chelsea, desperate for a goal. They're pressing. They had a few chances. They hit the post in the first half through Madueke. Starts
Nico
getting
Jackson,
towards the end of the...
Terrible again.
Yeah, Cole Palmer had a big whiff, and at one point, I will say though, Cole Palmer looked all right, creating chances.
Yes, but that whiff was comical.
It was. But they're going up. They're trying to get a goal. They bring the goalkeeper out. They get caught.
Yeah.
They got caught. Neil Maupay runs down, and honestly, Sanchez, he catches up to him, man.
Man, I didn't
Almost
know.
puts
I
in a
did not
tackle
know
and take
Robert
the ball
Sanchez.
away.
I didn't know he was that fast. Holy cow! He ran.
He looks like the fastest
down.
player on that Chelsea team, man.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because he was the only one that trekked all the way back. And if it wasn't for his lack of coordination with his feet, I think he would have got there.
Yeah, I do think you're right. He almost did get there, but Neil Maupay, he slides it over for Brian Mbomo, who puts it away. That was in the, I think, 92nd minute.
90.
Whatever it was.
Was it? Or was it 96?
96.
Yeah.
96. So there you go. Put the game away. And there you are, Chelsea.
Honestly, I think an incident at halftime can pretty much sum up Chelsea's entire season so far. And it was a fan, while Nico Jackson was going down the tunnel, yelled at him, saying, "Why don't you shoot more often? You would score." And he said back, "I'm doing everything that I can, but I can't." I think it's something along the lines of, "I can't do anything if I don't get the ball."
I disagree with that. He's had chances.
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't agree with that situation, but the whole disconnect and miscommunication between even the players and the fans, like, that sums up Chelsea right now. Same with United.
Well, the only good news for Chelsea is it looks like Christopher Nkunku is back in training. So that is good news for Chelsea fans. Hopefully he's back out there in the next
play the rest of the
couple
season,
weeks.
And he's back. We
knew he'd be back this season, but I thought it would be closer to almost Christmas.
Yeah, good for him. Like, way to come back. Props to Chelsea's physios.
There you go. Moving on to another London club, we had Arsenal taking on Sheffield United. This was an easy stroll in the park at the Emirates as Arsenal won 5-0.
Dude, they say that there's no such thing as an easy game in the Premier League. That has been said by pundits all around the world. Well, I will say, this is no credit to Arsenal. I think Sheffield United are that bad. Because they didn't make Arsenal work for nothing. Not a single thing in this match, even though they made it look more difficult than it needed to be at times. Maybe it's injuries, maybe it's Maybelline, I don't know. Sheffield United are awful.
So, I'm going to take my mustache off because that's just annoying.
Yeah. You want to do glasses too?
Sure, we'll take the glasses off. So here's what I'll say. I disagree with you. So yes, Arsenal won this comfortably. It was almost a perfect scenario for Arsenal. Playing midweek in Seville at Sevilla. They come back. They're playing at home. They get Sheffield United, who again have, I think I saw it was 10 injuries.
Yeah. Including their star striker, Ollie McBurney, did not play in this match.
So, I mean, that's a perfect scenario. Versus, for example, let's look at Newcastle. Newcastle played at home midweek versus away, but then they had to travel to Wolves.
Playing a red-hot Wolves team.
So, I mean, I do think there's a little bit of luck with that fixture schedule. It definitely helped Arsenal out with who they played. Again, it helps Sheffield have all these injuries. Because if you remember when Man City played them, That was a very close game.
Yes. But that was a healthy
Uh,
Sheffield United.
It was. And so I do think there's luck as far as injuries, schedule, things like that. But you're not wrong in that Sheffield never showed up for this game.
Well, you got to think, too, when Manchester City played Sheffield United, that was earlier in the season, right? They hadn't lost 9 of 10 games or 8 of 10 games, right? So confidence is already low, and then you have all of these injuries. And I think that if Sheffield United can't get a luck of the draw win or like a lucky win somewhere in here, it's just going to compound with the injuries and lack of winning, maybe even lack of scoring goals, right? Because they have the least amount of goals scored in the Premier League. They have the most goals against in the Premier League. They look disconnected and disjointed, especially going forward. And, I mean, we all know what Arsenal can do if you give them space and time. And Sheffield United didn't do anything to help themselves in this match.
No, they didn't. So we'll get to it. It started out Nketiah with the first goal. He would end up getting a hat trick in this game. Like first goal, it came in the 28th minute. So they got that first goal. It was 1-0 at halftime. And then it was just an Arsenal train steamrolling.
I will say, Neil Smith-Rowe did get the start.
You did call that one, I believe. Yeah.
Big old smiles on our faces. And then we saw who was playing in goal, and it slightly went off of our faces.
So yeah, David Raya. Note, I will say we can kind of leave that subject alone for this week, as he honestly was not tested at all. So no mistakes on that end. Yeah, but Arteta did make a few changes. So, some players that he rested from the game in the Champions League on Tuesday was Gabriel, Odegaard, Jorginho, Tamayasu. They all sat out. You saw the likes of Havertz coming back in. Smith-Rowe came in. Kivior got the start. Nketiah got the start for an injured Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, apparently Martin Odegaard also carrying a knock, so it was good to see him get a rest. He didn't play at all in this match, so. Again, perfect storm for Arsenal.
It was a perfect result. They could rest some players. They played Sheffield, bottom of the table, at home. Made easy work of them.
Yeah.
Tamayasu got a goal. Fabio Vieira was fouled in the box. Took the PK, scored it.
Congrats to Tomiyasu, his first ever Arsenal goal, and you could see how much it meant to him and the rest of the squad as the entire bench cleared and everybody met him in the corner. It was great. But enough about those two goals. Let's talk about the man of the match, the man of the moment, Eddie fucking Nketiah. Where was this performance all of last season? Holy crap.
Well, I mean, again, you have to look at context. This is not Burnley, Sheffield. Yes. Bottom of the table.
But all of the goals were very nicely done. And probably out of all of those, some strikers would have missed that. Like, you give Nico Jackson those 3 chances, he just had 0 goals at the end of the day.
So, yeah, the first one, Declan Rice plays in a ball. Kind of takes a little deflection and gets it to Nketiah. He has I will admit, a beautiful first touch to get himself away from the defender.
It's either a goal or a penalty, yeah.
And a nice slotted home finish. His second goal, the ball's kind of bouncing around there in the corner after a corner on the box.
First time, right to the roof of the net.
And then the third one was just a golazo, man, which if you haven't seen, it's posted on our Instagram, TikTok. Go have a look at it.
Links down below. Check it out.
And you should be following us on there, honestly, if you're
you
not
should.
Already.
You should.
And on YouTube.
Make sure you're liking this video if you are following us. Comment if you're not, and then let us know why, and then go follow us.
There you go.
And if you did see the goal, oh my goodness, let us know what you thought of it.
It was an amazing goal, yeah. Beautiful goal.
What a strike. Out of nothing. I literally jumped off the couch.
It was one of those yeah. Where's my...
Scared. Yeah. Scared both my dogs. They jumped off the couch with me.
So our next game, this was an interesting one at the bottom of the table. A relegation 6-pointer, as we like to call it.
Can we upgrade that because of how bad the bottom teams have been this season? Can it be a 9-pointer? or
A
a
9-pointer?
12-pointer. Like, yeah, I understand it counts as 2 wins, but like right now with the way all these teams are playing, it counts as like 3 games.
I'm not going to do that. It's a 6-pointer.
Okay.
It's a 6-pointer. This was
Well,
Bournemouth.
I'm gonna say a 9-pointer because that's how massive this win was.
So it was Bournemouth against Burnley, ended 2-1 in favor of Bournemouth. So this is one you got right. I picked Burnley to win this, and I was feeling good because Burnley, they struck first. Honestly,
I will say a stat. In the first 15 minutes this season, Burnley has more goals than Arsenal does.
One. There you go. So, but even in this whole first half, Burnley dominated possession, and they took the lead in the 11th minute through a sweet volley from Charlie Taylor. He's their left back, I believe.
Yeah, what a volley it was, too.
I mean, it was by the goalie before he even saw it. It was a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
But Bournemouth, man, they grew into the match. They got their equalizer in the 22nd. It was kind of a nice solo run from Antoine, Semenyo?
Semenyo. Yeah, it was a bad giveaway in midfield by Burnley. And then Semenyo gets the ball, takes it down the field. Wonderful piece of skill. Puts it in the back of the net.
Do you think Trafford could have done a little bit better on that one?
I
Burnley
think so.
Goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think so.
It wasn't like a hard shot, so that's what makes me question it.
Yeah, and you know, we'll talk more about Trafford not having the best of performances and doing better on the second goal. But, you know, I think he could have done better in a lot of instances in this match.
Yeah, because you wanted to talk about a challenge here from the goal scorer from Burnley, Charlie Taylor.
Charlie Taylor completely missed his challenge on Aarons, right? Like, he swings and misses, and then instead of like going back to get the ball, he essentially rugby tackles him on the touchline. He got a yellow, but could it have been a red? He does not play the ball whatsoever, and that is a blatant foul. And he elbows Aarons in the face in the process.
So, I know what you're talking about. And there was kind of almost a similar challenge in El Clasico on Vinny Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the Barca player that it was.
Yeah, I can't either.
But
maybe I'll remember it later.
It was a similar where he gets by and just kind of basically gives him a big old hug, drags him down to the ground.
I didn't think that was a hug.
It was a yellow in that game. For me,
it was a hug.
It was a hug.
Tackle.
It's just, you put your arms around him, you're giving him a big old hug, saying, wow, you got by me, good job, buddy. But you're not going to continue.
I think in El Clasico, was it Arujo that did it on Vinny Jr.?
It might have been. I don't remember who the defender was, but I know what you're talking about in this one.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a yellow. It's not a red.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd bring it up because we hear this all the time. Oh, it's like the top tier of a yellow card. It's not quite a red. Maybe it's an orange, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I would call it one of those professional fouls where you intentionally bring them down. You're not endangering the player, though.
It was the elbow for me that endangered the player, but
it wasn't on purpose. It was. I mean, your arms are
doing
stuff.
You are correct. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. I laughed watching it, nonetheless.
So this second goal that Burnley scores in, it's a terrible square ball that Philip Billing just pounces on. I mean, he was, 40, 50 yards out, takes it 10 yards, and chips Trafford.
Yeah,
who gets a solid hand.
Standing outside of his 18-yard box when his ball is hit, and he gets a hand on it about 6.
A solid hand. Not fingertips. It looked like a solid hand.
It was a solid hand because the ball flights changed and slowed down. I think he could have done better with that.
If he punches it, swipes at it, yeah.
I think you just swat it, man. Don't try to just hit it with your hand. Hit it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Well, obviously we saw the worst that's going to happen. But if you swat at it and miss, it still goes in. If you swat at it and hit it, it goes out for a corner kick. And you just made one of the best saves of the season.
It was a bad one, yeah. I mean, Trafford, he has not been having the best performances lately. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets dropped here soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of sums up the entire Burnley squad, so.
You're not wrong. And so, Burnley thought they had an equalizer at the end of this one, rolling back the years, Mr. Gray-haired Adam Lallana.
James
Rodriguez. That's who it was.
Yeah.
James Rodriguez.
Gray-haired and fleet-footed, man. But he was offsides by essentially the bun on the back of his head. It wasn't actually, but that's about the distance he was offsides.
It was like his knee or something.
Yeah.
But who needed this win more?
I was just going to ask.
Areola
for you.
or Company?
I was going to ask you the same question. I think Areola needed the win more than Company did. I think last season has built him quite a bit of a buffer. And with Bournemouth firing...
Company, who you're talking about, right? Has built him a buffer,
Who has a buffer from last season. I think he's got a lot more leeway. But because Bournemouth fired Gary O'Neill and hired Areola. Is it Iraola?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to say Areola, so. Yeah. Anyways. I think because he was that hire and they fired Gary O'Neill, seeing what Gary O'Neill's doing, I think he was more under pressure. So this is a very, very big win for him, and it gets Bournemouth out of the relegation spots.
Yeah, you led me right to it. So Bournemouth, now they sit in 17th place with 6 points. Luton moves down into that relegation zone on 5 points. Burnley sitting on 4 in 19th place. How long can this continue before Burnley starts thinking about a new manager?
Again, like I said in a previous episode, I think they give him at least through January. Maybe get some signings in, try to fix some things. But I'll be honest with you, even if they get signings in, I don't think it's going to fix anything because Vincent Kompany has no plan B. He does the same tactics every match. It does not work in the Premier League when you don't have world-class players on your squad.
I'll be curious to see where they're at come March. For example, if they're still sitting, 19th, March.
I'm going to put it down now. I think they have maybe 12 points max by March. Max 12 points.
We'll see. I mean, my thing with Burnley is, like you said, Vincent Kompany has bought time. And if they give him till January to bring signings in, you have to give him a few games with these new signings to do something.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I'm curious to see where they're at in March. If they're still sitting 19th and still only, for example, a few points from the relegation. I think they stick with them, but if they're, if you're sitting 19th, 12 points away from safety, time to think about something different.
The only thing I will say they have going for them is this new financial fair play investigation into Everton, where before the end of the season they could possibly get a 12-point reduction.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk about that when we talk with Everton. That hasn't been official yet. We don't know what's going to happen there, but it's ongoing.
Yes.
But let's get kind of to a surprise. Well, I guess it was a surprise result for you, not for me, because I had.
Let's be completely honest about this. It wasn't a surprise result for me. I just thought Newcastle would have enough to nick one.
I did not, and I picked this one to be a draw, which it was. It was Wolves against Newcastle at the Molineux, ended 2-2.
And could have possibly been a victory
Wolves win,
for Wolves.
Honestly.
Yes,
yeah.
100%.
So this one ended 2-2. Callum Wilson put Newcastle up in the 22nd after, it was a terrible mistake by Jose Sa. He comes out to grab the ball, drops it.
Right through his hands. Literally. Straight through his hands.
No, I would say he gets it, and then as he's falling, he drops it. And then great improvisation from Callum Wilson. Ball's bouncing around, bounces off his head. He has a little acrobatic finish.
Over the head, yeah. Overhead kick.
Jose Sa should just punch the ball away. Would have been much better.
Yep.
Wolves would equalize through Mario Lamina, diving header off of a corner kick, basically going over Kieran Trippier.
Yeah,
Poor defending by him, man.
I want to call it a diving header, but the sheer fact that he completely jumped over Kieran
What I think it was Kieran Trippier didn't read the flight of the ball, and he ran past it.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think he was facing the ball, if you watch the replay.
But he runs past the ball, and so it leaves him in a tough spot. Mario Lemina did not run past the ball. He
still had
it.
work to do, so great finish by him. But yes, 100%.
And then just before halftime, a penalty was given to Newcastle. Wang Hee-chan fouls Fabian Schär. This one was a rough one. And so I told you I'd go back to that real time versus slow motion.
Yeah.
So in real time, this looked like a foul.
Yeah, 100%. Because no matter how you looked at it, it looked like he kicked his foot.
It does. It looks like, so basically what happens is Wang Hee-chan has the ball and he goes to clear it, and Fabian Schär just puts a foot in right before he goes to clear it, and it looks like Chan catches him. But you can see he pulls up. Once you see the replay, they slow it down. If there is contact, it's very minimal, and it honestly looks like Schär is already going down.
Yeah. Well, it pretty much looks like he is lunging in, falling over, if you watch it in slow motion. If you watch it real time, it looks like he got his leg kicked out.
Oh, 100%. And so VAR does not overrule it. They don't deem this clear and obvious mistake, which has been their get-out-of-free card, so to speak. But my biggest thing is, why not send the referee to the monitor, man? Why not just send him to go take another look, let him see it?
Please
rant.
Every single fan at Molineux had the same reaction when he didn't go to the monitor. You heard the ringing of the boos. I was yelling at the TV. I was like, how in God's name did the ref not get sent to the monitor? Because his mind would have been changed seeing it in slow motion.
Oh, it would have been.
Mine got changed. I thought it was a penalty, and I saw it, and you could see Wang Hee-chan literally pulls up and stops his foot, and Fabian Schär just luckily gets in the way. Not a penalty. If anything, it's a yellow card to Fabian Schär for flopping.
I wouldn't say it was a flop, because he does have to move his foot, otherwise he would have hit Chan.
I'm not saying that it is a yellow card. I'm just saying it's probably closer to a yellow card than it is a penalty, in my opinion.
It shouldn't have been given. I know you and I both thought that. Again, it was one of those, just send the ref to the fucking monitor. Have him look at it.
They took 7.5 minutes to look at it.
It took so long. So, no, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say it was 7 minutes. I would say it was at least, it was the whole stoppage time. So there was 2 minutes of stoppage time.
It was a long time. Yes.
It was at least 2 minutes for sure. Not exaggerating. It was a solid 2 minutes. They're looking at this.
Yeah.
Because, they showed it from at least 3 or 4 different angles, and you're watching it and you're trying to see, does Chan's foot make contact with Schär's foot? If it does, it's slight, minimal at best. There wasn't a real definitive, for me at least, viewing where it's did he touch him? Did he not? It looked like there could have been slight. Just slight.
Not enough for a penalty.
Not enough for a penalty.
No.
But Callum Wilson, man, he would step up, take the penalty, score it, albeit Jose Sa also gets a hand to it. It was one of those, he goes...
kept it out.
He did.
He almost kept it out. Hit the wrong side of his hand, rolls into the back of the net.
So yeah, Callum Wilson kind of goes down the middle as Jose Sa is diving past it, sticks up that hand, gets a hand to it, but not enough, goes in. But that Korean guy, man, he would make up for that PK, air quote, giveaway.
Ooh, what a goal this was, too.
So this was honestly probably one of my favorite goals of the weekend, just all around. So it starts out with that defender, Tati. He's got 2 or 3 players around him, and he just burns them all. Plays a lovely ball to Chan, who then sits Lewis Dunk, man. Sits him.
Lewis
Dunk, sorry. The other tall...
Dan Burn.
What's that left back? Dan Burn. That's who it is.
I was like,
Dan Burn.
Wrong team, man. Wrong team,
my bad.
Other tall
very
Englishman. Similar, yes. But yeah, he sits Dan Burn down. Down. And then, as cool as you like, as slow as can be, just places it right in the near post.
Almost Messi-esque.
Korean Messi, anybody? I'm sure
There
that
you go.
I'm sure that has been made at least once.
Korean
comparison.
Messi, I love it. But I mean, it was a beauty, that goal. That was, like I said, that was one of my favorites.
And what a player Hwang Hee-chan is. Like, he's
Oh,
on
yeah.
a team that, let's be honest, on paper, except for going forward, does not look very good.
Not
Credit
on.
to Gary O'Neill. I'd say that first before I say anything else, because of how well he's coached this team. But man, what a player he is. To stay on the bench, and then every time he comes in, he has goal involvement, and then to start, and then just keep doing it. Leading scorer for Wolves, 6 goals for him
6 goals
this season. And man, what a player he is, and what a gem Wolves have found.
Worrying signs though for Wolves, as their, I mean, I'll call him their best player, Pedro Neto.
He's leading the league in assists. Pedro Neto.
Was 6, yep.
7.
Pedro Neto.
7.
Now 7, okay.
Yeah.
Pulls up with looks like a bad hammy injury.
Like he hopped and then fell like 20 yards. That looked like a straight pull. Like he's going to be out a long time. Had to be stretchered off afterwards as well.
It's going to be weeks. Yeah, possibly months. We'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully they can get him back sooner rather than later, because he is influential for Wolves and what they do.
Yep.
I will say though, man, this was a fun game to watch.
Oh yeah. Very ebb and flow, very back and forth. Newcastle probably had the skill to make this a match that they could have won, but the tenacity and the just sheer effort of Wolves, man, they deserve to get the 3 points out of this one. A draw doesn't do them justice.
I do feel like a draw was justified. I think that PK call was harsh. You're not wrong.
It's just how well Wolves played in this match. I think that they deserved more than 1 point.
I don't want to take away from Wolves, but I do think Newcastle playing midweek against a Borussia Dortmund team had something to do with it.
No, 100%. I'm not discounting that at all. I'm saying in this match.
You and I kind of suspected Newcastle being in Champions League, this would happen. It's tough. You can't put out your best squad every game when you're playing in Europe. They have a Carabao Cup game coming up against Man United.
Well, especially they're in the group of death.
They are. They're in a tough group.
In a perfect atmosphere with a team playing awful tactics against them, and PSG pretty much gave the game to them. No disrespect to Newcastle, because they performed very well in that match. But playing a Dortmund squad that just essentially bided their time and then countered on them, they had to put a lot of effort in that match. So
they did.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some tired legs on that pitch.
Moving on, we got the first game that was on Sunday. This was West Ham against Everton. Good old Everton coming out 1-0 winners.
3
Getting
points,
all
man.
3 points, man.
Massive for them.
You and I did not predict this.
I don't think anybody predicted this. Not even Everton fans. Away from home as well.
Away from home, we'll talk about they could potentially be facing a 12-point deduction for losses that they've faced over, the past 3 years?
Yeah. So, I mean, we can talk about it now or later. That's up to you.
So let's just talk about a little bit now.
So the financial fair play, the rule is you, as a club, you cannot take over 100 million in losses over a 3-year time span, right? Well, their reports, as financial reports over the last 3 years came out, and they have lost 304 million over the last 3 years, which is 200 more than the allotted amount. So pretty easy, and the Premier League has recommended to an independent panel that they get a 12-point reduction.
You hate to see it, because that would really hurt Everton. I mean, they're
I'll be honest with you, if it's gonna happen, this would be the season, because the teams below them are that bad that they could easily get back up. I mean, they're only 2 points off 12. Sheffield United has 1. They only need to win like 3 games, and they're back out of the relegation zone. So if there is a season to do it, this would be the one, but you hate to see it.
You hate to see it. They are sitting on 10 points in 15th place. If they got a 12-point deduction, that'd put them at -2 points, basically.
Only 3 points off of 19th place. That would be 19th place Sheffield United, who have 1 point.
So it'd be 19th place Burnley at 4 points.
Well, because they'd be at -2, Burnley would go up to 18th.
Yes, and so they would have to catch Burnley
Yes,
to get out of relegation.
I'm just saying how bad the bottom of the table is, right?
It is. The bottom of the table is bad. You got Sheffield with 1 point, Burnley with 4, Luton with 5, Bournemouth with 6, and then there's a bit of a gap to Nottingham Forest at 10.
And Everton,
But it would be terrible. But they got all 3 points here. West Ham, they did dominate possession in this match. Just kind of poor finishing. Jared Bowen was very disappointing in this game. Not his best game.
Jared Bowen had 4 or 5 chances in this match that if you had showed them to me without me knowing the result of the outcome of what had happened, where he got the ball, I would have said probably about 6 out of 10 times that he would have scored.
It was a day to forget for Jared Bowen. Let's just put it that way. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, man, gets the winner. Beautiful turn, finish.
Ooh, he had no right scoring that. He's surrounded by 5 defenders with a Johan Cruyff turn.
It wasn't a Cruyff turn. It was just a nice turn. It was a quick ball to the side that he turned.
Watch the replay.
It was not a Cruyff turn.
I had to watch it 3 times.
It was not a Cruyff turn.
It was. Watch the replay.
You need to go look to see what a Cruyff turn is then, bud. Okay. Either way, fantastic finish for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Both goalies played well in this game. Areola, Pickford come up with big saves.
Oh, yeah. Pickford yet again saving Everton. How many times is it going to happen?
Every game. It's going to happen every game with the way Everton plays. But it's a massive win for Everton, especially with their chairman, Bill Kenwright, passing away midweek. Did him the honors, getting the 3 points.
Yeah, and Calvert-Lewin dedicated his goal to him as well. So, class move all around by Everton. And you know what? They deserved it.
Moving on to our next game, we had Brighton against Fulham.
Oh.
This one was an interesting game. We both picked Brighton to win. This one ended in a draw, 1-1.
Yes.
And so we'll start with the VAR call.
Yeah.
João Palhinha would find himself in some controversy here in the 21st minute. I don't even want to call it a tackle, man. I guess it was a tackle, but it was
an elbow to the face. Let's be honest.
Elbow, forearm, whatever you want to call it, to the face. VAR, it wasn't even a foul called on the field, first off.
Yeah. VAR took a look at it, said, nah, it's fine.
Not a clear and obvious error, apparently. Again, this is that they're get out of jail free. It was not a clear and obvious error. It was on Pascal Gross, and you could see even a couple minutes, like the ball will go out of bounds, and Pascal Gross is arguing with the referee. Like, how is this not being looked at?
Right? He got smacked, man. I don't know how the ref didn't get sent to the monitor. Yet again.
If the ref goes to the monitor, can make a better informed decision, at least.
At the very minimum, he is allowed to call it back, give a yellow card and a foul. At the very minimum. Because it was right on the edge of the box.
It was a red card, man. This should have been a red.
100% a red card. 100%.
This was a thrown elbow. Like, it wasn't just like you put your arms up to protect yourself. It was, you see the elbow move towards him.
This is watch it in slow motion and in live. It looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. Like, this is 100% blatant, 100% violent conduct, and 100% a red card.
And this decision would come back to haunt Brighton. Because, again, they get the first goal in the 26th minute. Beautiful finish by your boy, Ferguson, young 19-year-old Irishman. Lovely left-footed finish, man. It looks, and honestly, they dominated this game, Brighton.
It should have been 4-5-0 at half. But apparently, just that one time, Brighton could finish.
And it would come back to bite him as that player who put in threw that elbow would get the goal. João Ligne.
Oh,
Oh,
man. And what a rocket of a goal it was.
it
I swear,
was.
I swear he didn't even look up. He just collected the ball and hit it. And it went top bins.
Yeah, it was one of those where Brighton, they're going to play the Brighton way. They lose possession in their own half after some nice pressing, but, by Alex Iwobi. Fields feeds Wilson, who picks out Paulinho, who just sends a rocket into the top corner in the 65th. Last week, I was giving praise to Lewis Dunk. I'm going to give him a little bit of criticism. He did not get out very quick to press Paulinho.
No, and gave him enough time to collect himself and hit that shot. I will give him a little bit of credit. I did see him hit a free kick.
Off the crossbar, man.
A
knuckler.
Yeah, when he stepped up to take it, I was like, oh, God, this is going to go all wrong. And he hits the crossbar. Looked like
prime Cristiano Ronaldo with that free kick.
Yeah. So I'll give him that much credit. But other than that, yeah. He's very much at fault for the shot that got off, at least not putting pressure on it. So.
And Brighton had their chances. They just weren't clinical. But I want to pose a question to you, because Ansu Fati came on as a sub in this game. Looked lively. Do you think he should be starting for Brighton?
100%. The amount, his performances coming off the bench and starting, especially in Europe, as he scored again midweek. He has been on fire, and I'm sorry to Solly Marsh, but he's playing better than Solly Marsh is right now.
Well, Solly Marsh is injured, so...
Okay, well, even more. Yes, he should be starting. 100%.
All right, well, moving on to another free-flow attacking team. We have Aston Villa against Luton. We both knew this game was going to be one way and one way only. Aston Villa would win 3-1.
And they're scoring goals for fun right now. They're tied for the highest scoring team in the Premier League with Newcastle. But they've scored 3 goals in 3 straight matches in the Premier League.
And honestly, this game should have been more.
Oh,
Villa could have had 5, 6 in this one.
Easy.
They got the scoring started in the 17th minute. John McGinn off of I will say, this was a lovely worked free kick.
100%. And it was more from almost the corner too.
It was. It was just
Douglas
inside.
Luiz playing it across. You get a dummy. It goes all the way to the far post to McGinn, and what seems like time slowing down. Lovely finish into the far post.
Great finish. Again, like I said, man, you can see the work they're doing on the training ground on those free kicks, because it's paying off. But it was only 1-0 at the half. Again, they could have had more. They doubled their lead though. Just after halftime, Moussa Diaby kind of gets on the end of a ball. It was like a cross into the box. The ball kind of falls down. Moussa Diaby, first time finish on the half volley, right into the bottom corner. 2-0. They were cruising, and they would make it a 3 after. It was a lovely ball over the top to Moussa Diaby, who then tries to cross it into the middle, and Tom Locklear would put it into his own net.
I'll be honest with you, watching this live, I didn't know who hit it into the net. I just saw the ball go into the net.
There was a couple defenders there. Yeah, and then right behind him was Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, so I think no matter what, this ball probably goes into the back of the net. It's just unlucky from Locklear. So
I'm going to criticize Locklear a little bit. I do feel like he could have done better, because he has a swing at the ball.
Yeah. With the wrong foot, might I add you.
I don't think it was the wrong foot. He just hit it terribly. He hit it in the wrong spot of the ball. That's where it was.
Okay.
Wrong part of his foot.
Ball went in the net.
It did. Luton would get one back a little bit later. This was in the 86th minute.
One of the funniest goals I've ever seen.
It was an interesting one. So it was a cross in for that Luton forward, and Konsa, the
defender, yeah.
The defender for Villa tries to, it looks like, head it back to Emi Martinez.
Yeah, back or over the goal, either way. But it hits the crossbar.
And then
it hits Emi Martinez in the back of the head while he's trying to dive back
Save
for it.
Yeah.
Into the back of the net. Like, you can't make this up.
It was a weird one, yeah. If you haven't seen it, go check out just the
Oh my goodness.
unlucky series of events that led to that goal. Oh, man. But, I mean, this one, it was all Villa. Deserved winners. Unai Emery is doing fantastic. Villa, dude, they're sitting in 5th place, 22 points. Looking
Dude, they're
good.
5 points ahead of Newcastle. 5.
They're looking good.
Yeah.
And right ahead of them is Liverpool. Liverpool is only a point ahead. And Liverpool, they played Nottingham Forest this weekend. And they came out comfortable, 3-0 winners.
Yeah, they dominated this match, man.
It was a dominating performance. A little bit marred by the fact that winger Luis Diaz, his parents were kidnapped in his home country of Colombia. Apparently, they have found his mother.
But
at the time of this recording, have not
Yeah.
found his father yet.
Mhm.
So he's back dealing with those issues. So Darwin Nunez got the start. But it would be Jota that would put them up in the 31st minute.
Oh, you mean the man keeping Darwin Nunez out of the starting lineup?
Yep,
Weird.
that guy. That little Portuguese striker. So yeah, Darwin Nunez had a shot parried. Jota puts it away. I mean, Liverpool, they caught Forrest on a counter here. Center back for Forrest, Murillo, tried to dribble out, got caught, 3-on-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classy move by Jota, brought out a Luis Diaz jersey, showing that they're thinking of him and his issues.
I always love seeing that, man. It's such a classy move.
Same. Liverpool make it 2 as Darwin Nunez, the Uruguayan international, will make it 2-0 after Szoboszlai played across. He fired across first off.
Yeah, fired across.
And Darwin Nunez got just something on it. Beautiful ball, though, from Mo Salah to Szoboszlai to play him in. And then, I don't know what Matt Turner was thinking here, bud.
Oh.
Szoboszlai tries to play a ball up to Mo Salah, just a long clearance ball up top.
Like hope and a prayer, just hit it as hard as you can, as far as you can.
Yeah, and the defender and Matt Turner just miscommunication. I don't know. That's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah, that's the only way I can, especially with the reactions of the two of them. But essentially, they both miss the ball.
And it falls to Mo Salah.
It's just like, oh, well, this is the easiest goal I've ever scored. So 3-0.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That was it. Terrible mistake from Matt Turner, defender. I don't know. They both are like, what are you doing?
Honestly, I think Matt Turner staying in the goal probably would have been a better scenario.
100%.
Yeah.
But Dominic Szoboszlai, 2 assists in this game. Looking
Dude,
like
I think he's becoming one of the best
midfielder.
midfielders in the Premier League, man. Like, he is on fire, but commanding on fire. It's like every time he gets the ball, you think he's going to do something.
Yeah, so you guys should be listening to or listening and subscribing, following, whatever, on our Instagram, TikTok, because I'm actually putting out a video on Dominic Szoboszlai here tomorrow.
Ooh.
So make sure you're staying tuned for that.
Early heads up.
But I will say, this was an easy game for Liverpool, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
They thrashed them. I mean, Forest, they had 1 shot on target. It was the last kick of the game. That 1 shot on target.
Yeah. I mean, how much do Forest miss? It's not
Awani!
Awani. Yes. I almost said
Awani was on the bench, so at least he's
finally
getting
coming back from injury. Yeah.
He's on the bench.
I expected so much more out of Forest in this match. At least an effort.
They hit the crossbar earlier.
Controlled this match.
But yeah, this was... I will say Liverpool are playing really well right now. I think they will be title contenders.
Oh, 100%.
I think they will keep this up till the end of the season, barring significant injuries.
Yeah. I think the one that could kill their hopes, maybe 2, is if Mo Salah gets injured, which he tends to not But if Dominic Szoboszlai gets injured, I think they're going to be in a world of hurt.
I think they'll be all right without Szoboszlai because they got Curtis Jones, they got Harvey Elliott, McAllister, Gravenberch. They can. I saw Gagpo came back for this game, so they can bring him back in that midfield. But you're right, Mo Salah. I mean, that's an unreplaceable player. Let's be honest.
Yeah. 100%.
Let us know in the comments, guys. Make sure you're following us on the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Join our Facebook group. Check out our Redbubble. Get the merch. But what a week of football it was. City take the Manchester Derby. Madrid take El Clasico. Arsenal cruise to victory against Sheffield. Chelsea fall back to earth. And Liverpool are looking good. Can't wait to see what next week brings. On that note, we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. As always, cheers.